there was a local charity called Jerry Green Dogs, and I went there and I found Bella, who was my first Dalmatian, and she had come from a puppy farm. And when I first adopted her, I I didn't realise what I was letting myself in for, because in all honesty, I can remember sitting there just as she was chewing through my second pair of spectacles, thinking, oh my God, what have I done? About a year in, I was in bed upstairs and I suddenly heard this bang, 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 bang. And I thought, Christ, somebody's trying to break in. But I thought, well, no, because the dog, she would have barked. So I went running downstairs, and she was underneath the television table, right up in the corner of the room, and she was having a seizure. And that then marked the beginning of 8 years of health struggles. We basically lived at the vets, and it was just awful. And if I could have gone back to those breeders and said, how irresponsible are you? Look what you've done. The impact you've had just because of your poor lack of responsibility. Look, the impact that's had on her little life. I saw that there was another Dalmatian that needed rehoming, and they would only rehome him out of that particular area with a dominant bitch of the same breed. And I thought, I've got one of those. So I went to meet George, and he was at Rotherham Dog Rescue, and he'd already had 3 months worth of psychological training and rehab before they could rehome him, because his situation, I think, was probably far more, well, I don't know, it was dire. And the family that had him never let him out, never walked him, basically never cleared up. So if he was inside all the time, they didn't clear up after him, so he was then forced to eat his own feces because it's the only way to get rid of it. That's taken some work to get him to stop doing that. They fractured his back, they broke his tail in 3 places. When I went to see him for the first time, he was sat in this cage under a heat lamp. It was Christmas, it was snowing, and he was tucked right up in the corner. He's not a small dog. He was tucked right up in the corner, making himself as small as possible. And I just thought, I've got to get him out of here. I can't leave him. Belly passed away. I knew she was getting really ill. She wasn't able to really move very much, and I was just hoping beyond hope that it was just, she'd get better and she'd come out of it like she had done before. But she didn't. So I had to make the bloody awful decision of taking her to the vets for the last time, and God, that broke me. And I don't think any of us are really over it still. It was absolutely heartbreaking. And we've just had to make sure that George is all right, really, because how do you check for grief in dogs? You just have to check for kind of different sorts of behaviour patterns, or are they off their food, or he did go through all of that. It's still going through that.